Okay, so I'm working on my moulds today, and I was already starting, and then I thought, oh, let's take a video. So you're not going to see the first step, which is very easy. I had a measuring cup and I poured in the same amount of A and B of my epoxy resin. So first I poured A to 3.5 and then the B to 7. So I have the same amount of A and B, and I stir it for about a minute probably, because it's quite a lot in there. So I want to stir it well, and there is no rush with this one because this one sets in 24 hours. So that's different than amazing casting resin that sets in 10 minutes. So if you would work with amazing casting resin that sets in 10 minutes, you would never do a big cup like this, because by the time you stir it, it would set. But with this one, I have plenty time before it sets, so I can stir and stir, and then I take smaller cup, a silicone one, because it's better to use it for pouring the resin out to the molds. Okay, my little thingy for the camera is falling down. There it is. I have like a little neck brace for my camera. There we go. And then I just put it here in my little cup so it's easier to work with it. Put this to the side. Then I'm gonna work with my mold here, and then I will also take like a lollipop stick that helps me guide my resin, and then I just go. Don't worry if you pour over your mold a little bit, because then you can scrape it with that little stick, and then everything goes in. Ooh. It's hard to see when I have this thing on my neck. But there we go. And then another one. So the epoxy resin has a consistency kind of like gel. It's a little bit thicker, and it doesn't really set into the mold on its own. If I would leave it like this, it wouldn't really run into all those little bits, so I have to guide it with my stick. But if that would be the amazing casting resin that sets in 10 minutes, it would be more like water, and it would go in all those little bits. But it's much more expensive, and it's also a little bit, on one hand, easier to use because it's more like water, so it's easier to pour it. But then on the other hand, it's harder to use because you have to do it more often, because you can't do like a big cup like I've just did. So you have to do lots and lots of small cups, which takes longer. And I'm also now super allergic to the amazing casting resin, so I only use it when I really, really need something really quickly and I can't wait 24 hours. And I also like using it when I'm doing a dyed molds with resin dye and mica powders. You can probably still do it with epoxy, but it just works so much better for me, because with the amazing casting resin, because it sets white, you don't need to add a dye really to it. But because this one sets clear, so not only I have to add mica powders, but I also have to add a little bit of dye to help that color to bring out. So there are pros and cons for both resins, and I use both. So it all depends on your project. And I think this one is kind of set. There we go. I'll double check that there is no little bits that are missing. You add your, move it with your stick. There we go. And this is done. It's going to be finished in 24 hours. I'll get it out of my mold tomorrow.